the state of Florida and across the southeast.
That's right. It is in Georgia right now and over parts of North Carolina. Those folks have really been dealing with quite the punch from this storm. Fox Weather's Bob Van Dillen live in Atlanta this morning. And Bob, we talked to one of your counterparts there at Fox 5 just a short time ago, and he was getting inundated with rain. It looks a little bit better, but the flooding, oh my.
That's what it's turned into. I mean, the story has changed for Atlanta. We thought initially it was going to be a huge wind maker. We were calling for wind gusting as high as 80 to 90 miles per hour. Southern suburbs working their way up through Atlanta itself. But it had so much power, so much momentum as Helene came roaring into the Big Bend area. That upper level steering flow didn't steer it at all. It just kept on going on a trajectory. Now that it's weakening, it's beginning to move up to the north and back to the northwest. But that means instead of wind, got a heck of a lot of rain. And you can see behind me, this is the Peachtree Creek that has clearly overcome its banks. And we've seen about 9 to 12 inches of rain in the last 3 days. It's the wettest stretch that we have seen in Atlanta in over 104 years. So it started out with rain. Upper level low comes in on Wednesday. That was before we even got Helene's moisture in here. Then it started raining yesterday afternoon, and it's finally beginning to lighten up just a little bit. A little breeze out here also. We've seen multiple high water rescues. This is a Peachtree Creek. And if you go back down the road a little bit, about a mile down this way, we had over 60 rescues out of one apartment complex alone, about a mile up this way, and they also saved 12 pets. So, yeah, some good news coming out of this. At least we haven't seen any major injuries yet reported, but I'm sure we'll probably see some stuff because people keep on driving into the flooded roads. Guys.
Bob, I understand you're being humble, but Brooks just told us that that was video of you actually saving someone a couple of hours ago. Can you describe to us what we were seeing in that video? That's incredible.
Yeah, it's this car right there. You see the white car that's kind of right there stuck. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I was doing a shot for, I guess it was for Fox and Friends, and I heard her screaming, so I called 911. And 911 is swamped around here because what you see here is just, we've got roads that are covered like this in many places. So 911, these trucks are going to take a while to get in, and the water's coming up on her. She's starting to panic a little bit. I could hear her yelling, so I just threw the mic down and I got her. Water's deep though. It's up to about here. She's fine. She's fine. Just a little in shock, and her husband picked her up and on her way. So
okay, that is amazing that you did that. Was she trying to drive? Do we know, Bob?
You know what? We didn't see it go in. My photographer and I, it was dark still. And all of a sudden, we started hearing screaming. And we turned around. We're like, oh my, there's somebody in the water right there. So I called 911. And clearly, it was going to take a long time. So they eventually got here. But yeah, they're so busy today. You can't fault them.
Bob, you are a hero, and we're so grateful that we got a chance to speak to you and see that. No, you are. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you did something that a lot of folks would not have been brave enough to do. So thank you for that. And I know she is extremely grateful, her husband too. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
The all-new GMC Acadia takes you on even
able to get out of the vehicle.
And we witnessed an incredible rescue. A family, including a baby and 2 dogs, were rescued from floodwaters in northwest Atlanta in the dark early morning hours. This is on Bowler Road, the area we've been talking a lot about near Peachtree Creek and Buckhead. It's such intense flooding. Look at this, a swiftwater rescue team pulling the family from the top of a car, getting them on the raft, and then pulling them here to safety. But you can see the woman here has this very, very young baby strapped to the front of her. And the good news is we were told everybody was okay after this.
To watch that unfold live on the air too was it was really incredible. So glad that they're okay.
This is
Oh, I apologize, everybody. I forgot to say hello. But yeah, um, that was two stories from Hurricane Harleen, and I hope everyone is safe and sound. Um, the next one we're going to go into a we're going to go in. Yeah, I'm gonna show a video of a story that happened, I think, over a day ago or something. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find that video. Okay, everyone. This is I found it. I'm sorry it took me long, but I found it. This is this is another um update in the Alicia Watts case. I'm going to be quiet and let the video play.
Judge has denied a dismissal motion from the man accused of killing his girlfriend, Alicia Watts. Late today, a judge found the state did violate James Dunmore's constitutional rights, but not to the point that the murder case should be dismissed. The judge says the state wrongly obtained confidential medical records and must now destroy those documents.
I'm going to say this. I mean, it's good that the murder case. I mean, it's good that the case hasn't been thrown out, but to say that, but to legitimately say that, you know, they violated his rights, that to me, I really do not know why they would. I really don't know why they would say that. And this is as of right now, I just found out about this, and as of right now, I do not know what to say, but I'm hoping that she will get justice at the end of this, because she was last seen with James Dunmore. So again, this is like this is just I really don't know what to say right now. But for real, I hope that she gets justice, because all the evidence points to him. It does. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to another story, and that will be it for the news stories for today. How you doing, genius? Genius, good to see you. Um, I got one more story to share with everyone, since it's almost Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Next month it will be. I'm gonna go ahead and show you a video that I found about this. Um, but yeah, let me go ahead and try and find it real I found it, and I'm gonna go ahead and play the video.
In the United States, the majority of women in prison have experienced physical or sexual violence. A number of those women are domestic violence survivors.
I was criminalized for defending my life.
Those in power are doing their own abusive behavior in a different way.
What I didn't need was to be sent away to a prison and be forgotten about by a society that failed me in the first place.
Every year in the United States, roughly 10 million people are abused by an intimate partner. The CDC defines intimate partner violence as abuse or aggression that occurs in a romantic relationship. This can be a past or current relationship, and the abuse can take several forms, from stalking to emotional manipulation to physical or sexual violence.
Abusive persons are in need of power and control, and that manifests in many different ways.
This is Ruth Glynn, a survivor and the CEO and president of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. She says an abuser's efforts to exert power and control can range from restricting finances to isolating a person from their friends and family to threatening and inflicting violence.
This doesn't happen the day you meet this person. The day you meet this person, you think everything's going to be okay.
These controlling behaviors are often misunderstood by people who haven't experienced intimate partner violence, including those in the criminal legal system.
The first thing that people say, well, why don't you leave? And to me, that's ignorance, because, they weren't trauma informed to know that oftentimes you can't leave. The person has become your sole provider. The person has messed you up mentally to where you just stuck.
This is Leah Faria. She's a survivor of domestic violence and the director of community liaisons and organizing at the Women's Community Justice Association. She served 21 years in prison for what she describes as defending her life against a man who physically assaulted her, triggering the years of abuse she had previously endured.
For me, I didn't think a safe option was to call 911. You're dealing with people who are not trauma informed.
Faria's fear of calling the police is common. The National Domestic Violence Hotline found in a 2021 survey that 92% of victims felt afraid or concerned about how law enforcement would react if called, and 39% felt less safe after calling the police.
One of the ways in which domestic violence survivors are criminalized is through the inability and or lack of training, particularly first responders who respond to domestic violence events, not understanding who the primary aggressor is. And then before you know it, the survivor may have been the one that is charged with that domestic violence and has to go through that process.
This practice is particularly common because of mandatory arrest laws, which exist in more than a dozen states and require police officers to arrest one of the involved parties when they respond to a domestic violence call.
The first time I had to call the police, the night of the incident, they just confirmed my worst suspicion, that I wasn't given the benefit of the doubt, that I was arrested.
This is Tracy McCarter, a Manhattan-based nurse who ended up fatally stabbing her estranged husband in what she says was an attempt to protect her own life after years of violent abuse.
I was arrested within minutes of them entering my home, without them asking a lot of questions, without them finding out that that was my home and that my estranged husband came to my home, even though a neighbor was telling them that he heard me yelling, "Get out, get out." I was the one arrested.
Arresting a victim for fighting back against their abuser is one of the most common ways survivors of domestic violence are criminalized. Other forms of criminalization include charging victims for failure to protect their children from witnessing or experiencing abuse, engaging in illegal activity under the threat of violence from their abuser, or threatening physical force against their abuser. When it comes to the criminalization of domestic violence survivors, Black and brown women are disproportionately arrested and incarcerated. Glenn says that first responders need to be better trained to respond to domestic violence calls.
Every police officer, every EMT, anyone that's doing a first response should have training, what we call DB 101, which is the dynamics of domestic violence.
McCarter argues that being able to identify domestic violence isn't the problem.
In my case, the police have ample evidence that I was subjected to abuse. They have in my husband's own writings his apologies to me for choking me, punching me, kicking me. I provided a video to them because I thought they just don't understand. That's all. The ADA comes to court, and in response to the video, she says that at some point it appears that my husband may have choked me, but it would have been for a brief time. And I thought at that point, it doesn't matter. They know I'm a victim of domestic violence. That's not what they're interested in. The only way that I was going to be a victim in their eyes if I was the one who ended up dead.
Survivors and advocates describe going through the criminal legal system after surviving intimate partner violence as another form of abuse.
I pretty much knew, like right off the bat, that the detectives were able to detect that I was somebody that was abused. And instead of providing me with some kind of support, they pretty much harbored on that, which honestly further re-traumatized me.
This system, it doesn't have a place for us. It can't be reformed. It only needs to be destroyed. And then let's build something that's community-based, that allows people freedom, that allows people to heal.
From a policy perspective, there is so much more we can be doing. Yes, we've moved in a lot of good ways, but we still have gaps in resources.
Those gaps in resources can look like limited availability and transitional housing for survivors, or a lack of funding for intervention and prevention programs. Still, some states like California have made policy strides, enacting legislation that expands legal protections for survivors who have been criminalized. But Glenn says there also needs to be a shift in culture.
From a public relations and public awareness perspective, we don't do enough of just having these very public conversations about what domestic violence is and what is our part in it.
Why aren't we offering to set you up in housing, safe housing, away from that abusive situation? Why aren't we offering childcare to people who find themselves stuck? Why aren't we allocating money that is spent on policing to actually keeping people safe and protected in their communities prior to these interactions getting to that point?
Change is a movement, right? Change is created by people who have a desire to see things differently. And if we really want to get to like public safety, we really want to get to a lower recidivism rate, if we really want to get to a better society, we have to work together, and we have to do it, in unison, and we just have to just do it.
And that was it. I would say that I agree that that they need to do better when it comes to domestic violence survivors. Because to tell you the truth, they should never have been arrested in the first place. Hey, yes, genius. I agree with you cold-heartedly on this one. I agree. And I believe as of right now, it's now time that the system has to be changed. To tell you the truth, it's been time for it to change. Once again, I'm sorry about the I'm sorry about the time that I started this. It was supposed to be in the morning time, but the lights was still off, and but yeah, I want to thank those who came to see this video. Make sure to I'm I survived Hurricane Helene. I'm happy that you survived. Mm, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, you know, and again, I want to thank everyone for coming to the video. I will be live next. I will be live next Saturday, and again, like I said, and the and and I want to let people know if you're stuck in a domestic violence situation, and you need someone to call and you know keep, and I would say I would say that the system as it is right now, it needs to be replaced with something with something else when it comes to survivors of domestic abuse. I do think that they need to do more. Yep, that too, genius. But yeah, after seeing this, the only thing I have to say is Black women, it's time to, and I'm gonna say this because it has to be said, it's time to separate yourselves from the other women, because the pick me women, they're going to join in and start blaming you too. Why? Because a pick me's only job is to go ahead and protect the Black man at all times. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming. Make sure to like, comment, share this video to share this video with your friends, family, and also subscribe to the channel, and make sure you're notified whenever I go live or do videos such as this. And with that, until next time. Yeah, that is true, genius. That is true. But yeah, until next time, I want to wish everyone a good weekend, and I'll see y'all next week. Love, peace, and happiness, and stay dust free. Good night, everybody.